Hello everyone, and welcome. Today, I want to share a story with you. A story about art, loss, and the quiet magic of finding your way back. Once, there was a painter named August. He was a master of his craft, known throughout the lands for paintings that captured the very soul of the world. His sunsets were so vibrant they could make a grown man weep with nostalgia. His sunrises were so full of hope they could make a broken heart believe in love again. Each canvas was a symphony of color, a testament to the beauty he saw in everything. His art wasn't just paint on canvas, it was life itself pulsating with passion, emotion, and an unshakable sense of wonder. People would travel for miles just to stand before his work, to feel the warmth of his painted sun and the cool whisper of his painted breeze. August lived and breathed color. But then, one ordinary morning, something changed. August woke up, stretched, and walked to his window as he always did, ready to greet the dawn. But the brilliant oranges and soft pinks he expected were gone. The world outside was gray. The vibrant green of the trees was a dull slate. The brilliant blue of the sky was a muted, smoky haze. He blinked, rubbing his eyes, thinking it was a trick of the light. But it wasn't. The color had vanished from his world. Confused and a little frightened, he rushed to his studio. This was his sanctuary, his kingdom of color. He grabbed his favorite brush, dipped it into a pot of crimson red, the color of passion, of lifeblood, and made a stroke. But on the canvas, only a drab, dusty brown appeared. He tried again with cobalt blue, the color of endless oceans. It came out looking like smoke. He reached for his most beloved color, a brilliant, sunny yellow. It was gone completely, replaced by a lifeless, pale gray. Panic began to set in. He frantically mixed his paints, trying every combination, every technique he had perfected over a lifetime. Nothing worked. His paintings, once bursting with life, turned dull, lifeless, and empty. They were mirrors of the emptiness that was now growing inside him. And slowly, as his art faded, so did August. The man who once found joy in every sunrise now kept his curtains drawn. The laughter that once filled his studio was replaced by a heavy, suffocating silence. He stopped going for his morning walks, stopped visiting the market, and stopped seeing the friends who loved him. His once colorful studio, a vibrant haven of creativity, became just another room painted in shades of gray. The world outside continued, but August's world had stopped. He was a prisoner in a monochrome existence, haunted by the memory of a world he could no longer see. Weeks turned into a month, and then two. The seasons changed, but for August, every day was the same shade of gray. One afternoon, as a gentle rain tapped a melancholic rhythm on his window pane, a soft knock echoed on his door. He ignored it at first. Who would be looking for him now? The knocking came again, a little more persistent this time. With a heavy sigh, August dragged himself to the door and opened it a crack. Standing on his doorstep was a little girl, no more than 7 years old, with big, curious eyes. She was soaked from the rain, clutching a small, worn-out paintbrush. The bristles were frayed, and the handle was snapped in two. She looked up at the famous painter with a mixture of awe and shyness. "My teacher says you're the man who paints light," she said, her voice barely a whisper. A ghost of a smile touched August's lips, a sad, hollow expression. "I used to be," he replied, his voice raspy from disuse. "But I think the light has forgotten me." The little girl tilted her head and peered past him into the studio. She saw the gray walls, the colorless canvases leaning against them, and the dust settling on his paint pots. She shook her head, a determined look on her small face. "Maybe it didn't forget," she said softly. "Maybe it's just waiting for you to remember." Before August could respond, she carefully placed her broken paintbrush on the small table by the door. She gave him one last, hopeful look, and then she was gone, disappearing back into the rainy afternoon. August stood there, motionless, staring at the small, broken brush. It was such a simple, insignificant thing, yet, in his world of gray, it felt different. He picked it up, the splintered wood rough against his fingers. For a long time, he just held it. Then, almost as if his hands were moving on their own, he walked over to his easel. He dipped the tip of the broken brush into an old jar of black paint, or what he perceived as black, and drew a single, hesitant line across a fresh canvas. It was gray, of course, just another lifeless mark in his colorless world. But, as he looked closer, he saw something else. It wasn't just a line. There was a texture to it, a feeling. There was something alive in that simple gray stroke. He drew another line, and then another. He wasn't trying to create a masterpiece. He wasn't thinking about light or shadow or form. He was just moving the brush, letting the motion guide him. And as he worked, a strange thing began to happen. The gray on the canvas started to glow with a faint, inner luminescence. It wasn't color, not yet, but it was light. A soft, gentle light, pushing back against the darkness. For the first time in months, August painted not for fame, not for an audience, but for himself. He painted a heel. He poured all his pain, his loneliness, his silence, and his profound sense of loss onto the canvas. He painted the feeling of waking up to a gray world, the despair of seeing his passion turn to dust. Tears streamed down his face, mixing with the water and the paint on his palette. His hands trembled with exhaustion and emotion, but he couldn't stop. He painted until the sun went down and the moon rose, until he had nothing left to give. And then, as the first rays of the real dawn crept into his studio, something miraculous happened. As he added a final touch to his painting, a flicker of blue appeared on the canvas. A deep, calming blue, like a forgotten memory of the sea. His heart skipped a beat. He quickly grabbed another pot, and a brilliant yellow bloomed on his brush, as warm and radiant as the morning sun he had missed so dearly. And then came red. Oh, the red came roaring back, fiery and passionate, like his own heart had finally learned how to beat again. One by one, the colors returned, flooding his canvas and his world, more vibrant and beautiful than he had ever remembered. When he finally stepped back, he looked at his new painting. It wasn't perfect. The lines were raw, the strokes emotional and untamed. It wasn't the grand, polished work of his past, but it was honest, it was true, it was alive. And in the corner of the canvas, almost hidden in the swirl of renewed color, he painted a small figure, the little girl, holding her broken paint brush, smiling at him. He picked up a fine brush, dipped it in white, and carefully wrote the title at the bottom, "The Child Who Painted Me Back to Life." Months later, the doors to August's studio opened once more. People gathered from all over, curious to see the return of the master. They stood before his new collection, and a hush fell over the crowd. His paintings felt different now. They were still beautiful, but they held a new depth, a raw vulnerability. They were less about capturing a perfect world and more about expressing a truthful one. One young admirer approached him, his eyes wide with wonder. "Master August," he asked, "your work has changed. It feels more real. What happened?" August smiled, a genuine, warm smile that reached his eyes. He glanced at his latest masterpiece, the one with the little girl. "I stopped painting what I saw," he said gently. "I started painting what I missed." Sometimes, we lose the colors of our life. It's not always because the world itself turns gray, but because our own hearts forget how to see the beauty that's still there. We get lost in the shadows, focusing on and that's missing, and we forget about the light that's waiting to be found. But when that happens, all it takes is one small reminder, a kind word, a simple gift, a child's unwavering belief. Beauty never really leaves us. It just waits patiently for us to remember how to see it again, to pick up our own broken brush and dare to make the first mark. Thank you so much for watching and for sharing this story with me. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that explores the art of living. Until next time, remember to look for the color in your day.